What's going on, guys? Justin, aka Straight Hacks here, coming back with you with the start of another draft league. This time, it's the Anything Goes Draft League, the first season, and it's actually a league that I founded. This is my league, the first season of my own league. Our Charlotte Mega Bees are going to take part in the Anything Goes Draft League, which is called that because we allow things that are typically only allowed in the Anything Goes tier of Pokemon. That being said, it's we're allowing the Pokemon themselves, not the strategy. So we can have a Mega Rayquaza and a Calyrex Shadow, which will be out there, but it's still going to be typical draft format. That being said, let's go over some of the rules. First, you get 9 to 11 Pokemon with 135 points. Then you can have a maximum of 2 Ubers on your team. However, if you draft of a number 1 tier Uber, or a tier 1 Uber, I should say, which is a 35 or 33 point Uber, the things like Mega Rayquaza, like the Calyrex Shadow, things like that, then you don't get any others. However, if you take a tier 2 Uber, 30 to 28 points, you can also have a tier 5 Uber, 21 or 20 points. If you take a tier 3 Uber, you could have a 26 or 25 point Uber, as well as a tier 4 Uber, 24 or 23 points. And if your highest Uber is a tier 2, you could have, or a tier 4, apologies. If your highest Uber is tier 4, you could have 2 tier 4s or a tier 4 and a tier 5. Like it could also be, so you could have 2 tier 4s, 2 tier 5s, or a tier 4 and a tier 5. That's how that would work. There will be 35 points available when assigning Terra captains. A Terra captain will have access to every Terra type. However, we will have a Terra preview at the beginning of battles on Showdown. You can have 1 to 3 Terra captains, and obviously within a 35 point budget, and no Ubers can Terra outside of Terrapagos Stellar, which was an automatic Terra captain if you pick it, and was 30 points for us. So they have the team that drafted it has Terrapagos Stellar. It's allowed to Terra, but it was a 30 point Uber. Uh, 19 and under outside of Terrapagos, 19 and under are allowed to Uber. Or outside of Terrapagos, Pokemon 19 and under can Terra, except for the Terra banned Pokemon, which were listed in a note. Things like Melmetal was Terra banned. Things like Iron Valiant, Palafin, those kind of things were what was Terra banned. Plus some more, but we'll get into. You guys will see throughout the season some of the things that weren't allowed, some of the things that were allowed. That being said, let's get into our draft. My first pick, I had the fourth pick of the draft. I ended up with Shadow-Rider Calyrex. Now, this thing is insane. 100 HP, 85 attack, 80 defense, 165 special attack, 100 in SpDef, and 150 speed. Obviously, with the As 1 ability, which combines Unnerve, meaning the opponent cannot eat berries, and Grim Neigh, which gives us a +1 to special attack if we knock out a Pokemon. As a psychic ghost type, it does have 2 quad weaknesses in ghost and dark. However, being 150 speed with 165 special attack is really hard for our opponent to take advantage of our quad weaknesses outside of something like Sucker Punch or Shadow Sneak. That being said, it's still an amazing, amazing Pokemon. A great move set. Setup moves, things like Astral Barrage, which is insane, 120 power ghost move. Yeah, this thing is just crazy, and I'm very excited to get to use it this season. With that being said, this is our only Uber, the only Uber we were allowed to pick. So our next Pokemon, we ended up going with a 19 pointer, or 18 pointer, excuse me, and that was Terra Great Tusk. Obviously, we have Great Tusk in our other band type league draft. However, that one doesn't have Terra. It could if I wanted it to, but I decided not to. In this case, I did decide to use Terra Great Tusk because it seemed like a lot of fun, and I could get another really good Terra with it, which you guys will see coming up in a couple picks. 115 attack HP, 131 attack, 131 defense, 53 in special attack, 53 in special defense, and 87 in speed. Obviously, with the photosynthesis ability. Great, this thing is just really good. It gets like good moves. Headlong rush or earthquake, close combat, ice spinner, knockoff, rapid spin. It's got a great move pool and great physical stats. Its special stats are a little bit lacking, but it makes up for being super strong and still pretty bulky with 115 HP, regardless of its 53 special defense. But being able to use Terra on this makes it insane, I think, and it's going to be so much fun to use, in my opinion. Our third round pick was Sylveon. So I had a couple of reasons why I picked Sylveon third round. One, because it's my girlfriend's favorite Pokemon, and she wanted me to, so I did. Two, because there are so many dragons running around, and having a fairy type makes my life just a little bit easier, especially one that hits as hard as Sylveon does. 95 in HP, 65 attack, 65 defense, 110 special attack, 130 special defense, and 60 speed. The main ability would be using obviously Pixelate to boost the Hyper Voice, but yeah, it's gonna. Our third pick ended up being Sylveon, but that doesn't mean we didn't get a really good Terra Captain as our second Terra Captain. That's because we got Terra King Gambit with our 15 of our points in our fourth round pick. 100 in HP, 135 attack, 120 defense, 60 in special attack, 85 in speed F, and 50 in speed. Two amazing abilities, Defiant and Supreme Overlord. Obviously, Defiant boosting our attack by 2 when we have a stat lowered, and Supreme Overlord boosting our attack and special attack by 10% for each fainted ally we have in our party. Amazing, amazing Pokemon, and another amazing Terra Captain. This thing I feel like is going to put in a ton of work with Terra. So it's just something that I wanted to use, and I saw it left on the board for round 4, and we went with it. Our round 5 pick was a more defensive pick, and it was our Rotom Wash. We've been using Rotom a lot, so we decided to change it up a bit for Rotom Wash. 15 HP, 65 attack, 107 defense, 105 special attack, 107 special defense, and 86 speed with the Levitate ability. Does a lot of the same things that Rotom Heat does. It's Will-O-Wisp, it's Volt Switch. Instead of Overheat, obviously it has Hydro Pump, Pain Split, it can defog, so and on top of that, it's not weak to hazards like or stealth rocks, I should say, like Rotom Heat is. So a little bit different, but again, Rotom just such a good Pokemon, so you had to pick it up. Our sixth round pick was Cinderace, 80 in HP, 116 attack, 75 defense, 65 special attack, 75 special defense, and 119 in speed. The big ability being Libero, being able to switch your type once per turn. Once per switch in, the first or whatever, the first time you use a move of a different type. Being able to change types, making maybe be able to take a hit because of the change in type, as well as just hitting really hard. So Cinderace is such a good Pokemon. At 17 points, we picked it with our, I believe, sixth round pick, was it? Maybe fifth. I think it was our fifth round pick. Sixth. I think it was sixth. I don't know. I'm already lost. Anyways, our next pick was Overpond Cornerstone. Another 15 points, 80 in HP, 120 in attack, 84 in defense, 16 in special attack, 96 in special defense, 110 in speed with the sturdy ability. Normally it wouldn't be 15 points, but this would have been allowed to Terra if I chose to do so. I did not. But I think it fit my team pretty well. And it gave me a really strong rock attack and Ivy Cudgel, extra setup and spikes, more momentum with U-turn. And just overall a really good Pokemon. It hits really hard, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity to get it, even though it was maybe a little bit higher than it would be otherwise if it couldn't Terra. That being said, our second to last Pokemon, Vileplume, 6 points, 75 HP, 80 attack, 85 defense, 110 special attack, 90 in speed F, and 50 in speed with Chlorophyll and effect for abilities. Our last two Pokemon kind of had to be a little bit budget picks because we kind of spent a bunch of our Pokemon on our first 7 monster. But I was okay with that because I'm fine with having 2 budget picks on a team of like really good Pokemon, and I felt like this is what this looked like. So yeah, we ended up going with Vileplume. Still has some bulk and has some uses. Effect Spore can be a really good ability if you get a paralyze, a poison, or a sleep on a physical attack. As well as being able to just eat some hits from some things better than anything else. Not anything else, but some other Pokemon that I could have picked here. So that's why we ended up going with Vileplume. And our very last pick was our Terra Greedent. Greedent with Terra is something I've actually used before, and it's so much fun to use. It catches some people off guard. It actually hits kind of hard, only 95 attack, but it can belly drum with the Gluttony or Cheek Pouch ability to get some extra HP back. 120 in HP, 95 in attack, 95 defense, 55 special attack, 75 special defense, and 20 speed. So really slow, but with the Terra, I've used this actually in a draft league before, and it actually caught a couple people off guard and got me some kills. Whether it was like a Swords Dance set or a Belly Drum set with a Citrus Berry. Overall, it actually is really fun to use, and I would not be surprised if I bring it a couple times and catch some people off guard with it. That being said, that is our team. that we're going with for this season. I hope you guys stick around and watch the games, and I'll see you guys for week 1 next week.